my after show of my analysis. I just did my Instagram live, so my voice is a little dry, but pulling through. Of course, it's a somber night. I'm going to just say this. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away today at the age of 87. She was a revered woman from straight out of Brooklyn. I'm proud that she's a New Yorker. I'm not from the borough of Brooklyn. I'm from the borough of Manhattan, but I appreciate all politicians who have served that are from New York City. And so she made us proud, fought for our rights up here, fought for our rights all around this country. So with that being said, rest in peace, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. There will be another not like you who have fought for us, who dissented, pushed back from the GOP, did not care. So rest in peace. Rest easy, because I know the angels are going to be there with John Lewis, C.T. Vivian, and all the greats up there. So rest easy. Now I'm going to get into COVID-19 because that's still what's going on in this climate here. So we have the global death toll is at, the global cases around the world is at 30,393,591, with the global death toll at 950,344. Here at home, we account for a fifth of those cases. So we are 6,722,699. We have jumped up 50,000 cases per day. That's what it's looking like. And it's not a good scenario with our death toll here at 198,484. And that's according to the Johns Hopkins website. It's just a straight go on, the coronavirus. I'm going to put it in here. Coronavirus.jhu. That's Johns Hopkins website.edu. So that is there. Here we go. In terms of the New York Times COVID map here at home, we have California at 780,859. They're almost at 800,000 cases. Texas is at 713,354. Florida is at 677,652. New York, 452,764. Georgia, 286,170. Illinois, 273,596. Arizona, 213,663. New Jersey, 639. North Carolina, 191,630. And Tennessee routes out that top 10 with 177,707. That's what it's looking like, people. And, of course, we have no national strategy. Not surprised. And, of course, Donald Trump basically ignores the science all day, every day. Says some outrageous stuff about Puerto Rico. So, I'm not surprised. Giving them money all of a sudden to just pander to the to Puerto Rico. But I want to pull up this video that was posted by Brian Tyler Cohen, who is awesome. And I follow him, and I suggest you guys follow him on Twitter. He's pretty dope and on YouTube. So let me just pull up this video real quickly.
Why are more than 50,000?
I hate these ads. They are annoying.
Mr. President, this huge aid package to Puerto Rico, why not a year ago? Why not 2 years ago? Why not 3 years ago? Why 46 days to do it?
Because what we're doing is we've been working on it for a long time to get it passed. Very tough to get things past Democrats where they don't want to see this happen. And they certainly didn't want to see it happen at this point. But it's a big package. It's a great package. And I think the most exciting part of the package isn't necessarily the billions of dollars. It's going to be what we do with the pharmaceutical industry. We're going to get them back into Puerto Rico. They like being there, but they changed the tax situation. They ripped it out. So they really ripped apart the island, and we're going to bring it back to them.
It may be simply coincidental, but it does coincide with a big push for Puerto Rican voters the Biden-Harris campaign.
Yeah, I think that well, they can't do anything. Look, the Biden-Harris campaign, what they did, they hurt. I've gone through it, and whether it was President Obama or Vice President Biden, they were a disaster for Puerto Rico, a disaster. And what we're doing and what we've done, but what we're doing is something that will be fantastic for many years in the future.
Mr. President, a question on the vaccine, but first on Puerto Rico. I heard you many times over the past couple of years saying that Puerto Rico got too much money. I mean, just last year you said Puerto Rico is one of the most corrupt places on earth. We're talking about how Congress said they have money. You said never again. You said Congress gave too much money to Puerto Rico. Why now?
Because we're building that up as a great medical, pharmaceutical manufacturing area where, we're going to be taking back a lot of the business that we let go for years. And we're going to bring it back. They were very good at it. They did a fantastic job, but they destroyed it with their tax policy. They made it impossible for people to stay, so people went to China mostly. And
I don't have to play no more. Man is pandering. Not surprised. This is what he's doing. This is why the main reason, one of the main reasons, because there's many main reasons why we need to vote and why elections, all elections, no matter if it's federal, state, local, they matter. Period. Our ancestors were beaten to death, killed, so we can have the right to vote. For what my mother told me on the phone as we was discussing, she said as a little kid growing up in South Carolina in Utahville, she never forgot when she volunteered at her school during parent-teacher night. And it really made me think that there was an older man, an older gentleman, who couldn't write his name because I think he only completed 3rd or 4th grade or 2nd grade education, or probably just never went to school. I don't know what the case scenario is, but she told me that he only could write an X. He couldn't write his full name. That is one of the reasons why you should vote. And still, he wanted to vote and still had a hard time voting. Because my mom said the older people in the community will vote at the schools as the precincts at the time as well. And so when my mom saw that and saw that the man writing the X, right then and there is the reason that she's instilled in us, her millennial children, 1 Gen Xer daughter and 2 millennial daughters, including myself, to vote. Do not sit out in an election. So when my mom heard an interview last night, one woman saying, I wasn't going to vote, but I heard this immigrant saying he was going to vote. Why the hell would you sit out in an election? This is something that Justice RBG was fighting for, dissented against the conservatives who tried to strike down the Voting Rights Act, and still the Voting Rights Act has not been reinstated. And she fought so hard, going through cancer treatments and everything, fought so hard so we have the right to vote. People like me. And I thank her every day. And in honor of John Lewis, C.T. Vivian, Dr. Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, and RBG. RBG may not have been a civil rights activist, but damn it, she served on the Supreme Court and dissented against the far right to have the rights to vote, the rights to our bodies, LGBTQ rights, rights for African Americans and Latinos to vote, people. That's why this election and many other elections to come are important. Every election is important. Like I said, federal, state, local, they all matter. And for what my mother told me, I thought about it last night. And I thought about it tonight. Vote, 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 vote. And with the GOP, with Mitch McConnell having no regard, is another main reason why you should get out and vote. He does not care. And no matter what Mitt Romney say, it needs to come out of his mouth. And his mouth only. Not a damn news report. His mouth. Some people say it's time to panic. No, it's time to take action. From a live stream I watch, it's time to take action. It's time to vote. People. When you sat out an election in 2016, that's what your ass get. When your ass sat out that election, how did you sleep at night for the last 3 years? I know I marched my ass and vote because I had no issues with Hillary. Hillary was my senator. And she was a damn good senator. She was almost better than Chuck Schumer. Really want to get technical. That's why voting matters. It does. On dogs matters. And for Chuck Schumer said the same thing. It matters. And for Mitch McConnell to ram through this nominee who's probably not even experienced as Merrick Garland was, proves right then and there he's trying to mess with democracy and shit on the U.S. Constitution. Everything is on the ballot. The three branches of government is on the ballot. Issues like, of course, COVID-19, the economy, infrastructure, climate change, education reform, race relations, healthcare, everything is on the ballot. Everything. Everything. Foreign relations is on the ballot. Because I'm surprised the GOP still did not talk about the bounties, the Russians having bounties on our American troops and our British allied troops. That still is mind-boggling. And I said it on my Instagram. I said it on my Twitter live. Not my Twitter live, but my Twitter page. I want to say this. Drag your fucking ass to vote. Bring anybody you can to vote. Period. Vote, vote, vote. I don't want to hear the bullshit. Policy. It's not about policy anymore. We can work on policy once Biden and Harris is elected. But until then, this election is nothing to be fucked with. This shit is real. This shit is fucking real. And if you do not fucking understand that something is fucking wrong with you, and I'm dropping F-bombs because I see people still talking about policy. RBG just passed away. We got 3 liberals on the court, 5 conservative judges, and it possibly be a 6th one, which we hope that does not happen. This is why never sit out a damn election. Never. Ever. Donald Trump wants to take us back to the 1950s, where the police unleashed the dogs on you. My mother lived through that era as a kid growing up in the 60s. It's not a fun time. Black people were under siege, and now we're still halfway under siege. No matter how united we are. I always have it in the back of my mind of older white men who don't like change, who don't like these braids that I'm wearing, which I don't give a fuck. I don't want to live back. I don't want to experience what my mother experienced growing up. Drinking out of a fountain called Colored. Not a good time. And even here in New York, it wasn't still a good time. My father grew up here. During that same time. The whole Malcolm X thing, how Malcolm X was killed by his own. How Harlem was burning. The Bronx was burning. All we just want was just our rights. That's all we want. So when these leftists talk about the policy, that's right now, we need to make sure we need to of course, seize the executive branch, keep our majority in one of the legislative branch, and flip the other legislative branch and our judicial courts. Seize the moment. Our state and local government, too. New York State just went flip blue 2 years ago. Literally. Just because we are quote unquote blue state, upstate is very red. Very red. Even some parts of Long Island and Staten Island. This is exactly why I say the things that I say. And if you don't like what I'm saying this live, then this is not for you. You can log off. Because I'm going to keep talking. Whether I have 0 viewership or millions of viewership, I'm going to still talk. I'm going to use my gift for gab. That's what's going to happen. But moving right along. So I watched The View today. And I'm just going to play a clip from today's interview. And I think I'm going to play it in full length. Where is it?
Verizon knows how to build.
RNC, and in your speech you said, quote, Joe Biden believes we can't think for ourselves, that the color of someone's skin dictates their political views. I've also found that our gender apparently dictates our political views, and when it comes to being conservative women, we're heretics that the media likes to believe doesn't exist. Do you think that liberals seem to pigeonhole minorities by assuming that they can't predict their political beliefs based on their race as well?
Absolutely. They don't only predict it, they kind of provoke it, right? I think they wanted to continue voting for the same, but as we see in cities like Baltimore City, voting for one party, that mob rule leads to corruption. And I was really offended when VP Biden said, "You ain't black. You'll have to figure out between him and President Trump." I am black, and I have to tell you, VP Biden has been in office for almost 50 years. And if you tell me that he actually cared about the black community, why hasn't he done anything for all that time? You know, President Trump, like I said earlier, has done many things with only 3.5 years. So to me, it doesn't even jive. But no, I believe liberals do put us in a box. I think that's why they're always talking about, different communities. And I think the way they do it is actually divisive.
I will tell you that I was born in 1968, and black home ownership was at 41.1%, and in 2000, and now it's at 41.2%. Black incarceration was 604 per 100,000 in 1968. Now it's at 1,730. Black unemployment 6.7% in 1968. Now it's at 7.5%. So I'm not really sure what it is that President Trump has done for the black community, but I guess I'll take your word for it. But let me ask you this. During ABC's town hall, Trump said that he hopes there isn't a race problem in the country, but he's repeatedly branded anti-racism protesters in the U.S. as terrorists. Now, while you say that Black lives, and let me also say he's pointedly declined to condemn right-wing violence at those same demonstrations. While you say that Black lives do matter, you are not a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, is my understanding. I want to know why not, and I also want to ask you, do you recognize that there is right-wing violence also at these demonstrations?
Yes, I'm going to dial this all the way back. Thank you for all your questions and your stats in the beginning there. I'm running against Kwesi and Fume. My opponent was there from 1987 to 1996. So all your stats are very accurate. And they're accurate because my opponent and Joe Biden signed over that 1994 crime bill, which led to a lot of those numbers you just laid out. Now, I will say that Black Lives Matter movement started out great. There's a lot of peaceful protesters that are involved in it. But at some point, it was hijacked. Now we have people coming into cities, and these are outsiders. If you look at the arrest records, they're outsiders coming into cities and burning down, looting businesses, and a lot of them minority-owned businesses in the name of, I don't even know what, because I don't even know what their listed demands are. They say they want to defund the police, but at the same time, I mean, you take a look at that, it doesn't make any sense. If you want police to have more training and to be better equipped for their job, you would add funding. So I know you said, do I believe that there are right-wing instigators? Yeah, there are instigators from all types of groups. This isn't something where, you could say it's Democrat or Republican. It's on both sides for sure.
Kim, I want to ask you about the coronavirus. We heard that tape where President Trump admitted that he wanted to publicly downplay the threat of the pandemic, even though he knew it was spread through the air and was going to be very deadly. Now, we see how the virus is disproportionately affecting the African-American community. Do you think continually downplaying the threat costs lives?
That's a great question. Thank you, Sarah. First of all, I think that, we didn't handle the pandemic as a country great as a whole. This is why I talk about bringing the biotech industry right back through the Baltimore City port. We've allowed a lot of jobs and manufacturing to go overseas thanks to NAFTA and the Bill Clinton administration, and that's why he's pulling it back. Had we had that medical equipment industry here, we probably would have been more equipped to better handle the pandemic. Now, you're saying disproportionately affecting Black lives. If you look at cities of Baltimore, you've got things called like a food desert. And this is where you're sitting there and they don't have grocery stores. They don't have what they need around them in their neighborhoods. And so, yeah, I believe the coronavirus pandemic would affect us more. I mean, look at my campaign ad. Look at the living conditions. That would affect us more. Absolutely. That's why I'm running for office.
Come on, Kim. Excuse me, I have to say something to you. He told Bob Woodward that it was a very serious issue, and it's airborne, and that it was terrible. And then he went out and told the American people, don't wear masks, it's all going to go away. You have to put some blame on your president. I'm sorry. You're putting it on something extraneous here. Talk to the point, please.
Is this Joy speaking?
The guy lied.
Joy? The same
Yes.
Joy that
Yes.
paraded around in blackface not too long ago? Come on, Joy. I don't think you should be
That's
asking
not
these
true.
questions. I am
Excuse me.
African-American.
Excuse me. The black community had my back. They know that
The black
was not
community has my
blackface. That
back.
was an homage. Oh,
The
please,
black
just
community
answer the
has my
question.
back.
Black
as well.
community has your back? The black community has
Yes,
your back?
they do. Sonny,
The black community did
Sonny,
not
tell
vote
them.
for you.
Well,
The black
you know what?
community did not vote for you. What
It was
planet
during
are
a
you
special
living
election.
on?
Sonny, can I speak?
What
It was
planet are
during-
you living on?
It was during a special election while we were still under lockdown and I could not talk to people. Can I speak or are you just going to scream over
This
me?
becomes a big. Listen, Kim,
to
good
Joy.
luck to you. Thanks to Kim
That
Classic.
was very
We'll be right
immature,
back.
but
Bye.
thank you for having me.
We're really close.
Kimberly, I'm gonna call you. I don't like Kim K because there's already a Kim K, and I don't even like her. Kimberly, Mrs. Catkick, whatever your name is. What are you offering to the people of Baltimore? You're getting a lot of great reviews from bots, by the way, which I'm pretty sure they're not real people. What are you offering to the people of Baltimore? I haven't heard any policy plans, Kimberly. Kimmy. Oh, Kimmy. You didn't say what you were going to do. And you're using the word mob rule. That's a Trump right-wing talking point. No Republican used mob rule, only but Donald Trump. And minions like you, Kimberly. Kimberly, you don't even live in Baltimore City. You live in the suburbs with your white husband, which I have no problem with you having a white husband. I don't care. The simple fact that you care. Your opponent won overwhelmingly in that district. So, let me read the stats. I gotta pull up the numbers. Let's see. Results from the Maryland 7th Congressional District special election to fill Elijah Cummings' seat. We have Quasi Mufi. Sorry to jack up his name. Sorry, sir. 83,868 votes. He won 73.47% of the vote. Kimberly Click, whatever her name is, the GOP congressional candidate, or nominee now, only won 30,277 votes, which that is only 26.53% of the vote. That is bad. That's a bad ass whooping. So right then and there, let's check the stats of the Maryland Congressional District for number 7. Why? Okay, so Maryland Congressional District 7 polls. Oh, his name is Quasi. Sorry, Quasi, I messed up your name. There is a 99% chance that Gwen. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Trying to look for the polls. because he's the incumbent right now. Well, there's no polling numbers released on them. Trying to look for it. But she got her ass kicked in the special election. She might get her ass kicked again. She might have a little chance. She might gain a little bit more votes. But if Quasi is doing a good job for the people of Maryland, she has no chance. Like Roland Martin said, she has no chance. She spoke at the RNC, but that RNC didn't even get a lot of viewership versus the DNC. Kimberly still has not offered what she's going to do for the people of Maryland. She's talking about, yeah, my organization help people get jobs. We're not talking about your organization, Kimberly. We're talking about what you're going to do for the people of Maryland. So when they were asking you questions about your leader, since you praise him so much, he done this and done that for the HBCUs. That was actually Kamala Harris was behind that, because Donald Trump don't give a fucking shit about HBCUs. I'm just saying. First Step Act was actually introduced during the Obama years, but Mitch McConnell, sure enough, did not want to pass. He wanted to pass it under Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell knows what he's doing. But the mess up thing is now he's the Grim Reaper of the Senate and still going to be the Grim Reaper. I hope Amy McGrath has a plan on how she's going to help the people of Kentucky, because this motherfucker sure ain't. They take from the government, as I learned this year, the state of Kentucky. But that interview was good. Cheers to Sunny and Joy. And then the fact is that Kimberly tried to come with that, oh, you did blackface and everything. That was not, she was asking you a simple question, why Donald Trump is lying about the coronavirus when it's all on tape, and then you come with that cheap shot. You look like a whole entire asshole. And Twitter sure enough came for your ass. So I'm going to read all the tweets that Twitter has came for her, because she deserved every bit of it. The ending of Kim's interview on The View is hilarious. It sure is, because she got dragged. Joy is not going to continue to let people lie. That is true. Megan on the background, let her talk. No, Megan. The girl was lying. And my issue with Megan is you have all this energy for people like Michael Cohen, who wrote a book about Donald Trump. Yes, we all not fans of Michael Cohen, but you had all this energy for him, and he haven't even attacked you. The person that attacked you, you soft on him and his children. I remember last year at that interview with Don Jr., and you was like, my father, versus Abby and the rest of them basically was coming for Don Jr. like, don't you start your shit. Why your father is doing this shit, and why you keep tweeting dangerous shit out your mouth. And I mean, dangerous shit, period. Excuse me. So this whole boasting her energy on The View, it really doesn't, I don't care, because you don't have that same energy for Trump and his family, who keep attacking your father. Somebody attack my father, I'm going to be, yo, what? What? Like, and then her father's dead, and Donald Trump is still attacking her father as he's deceased. Megan's full of shit. But I'm glad Sonny dragged that ass. And somebody tweeted today, says, the black community has your back. The black community didn't vote for you. Sonny to Kim, who is running in a district where she never lived, but lives in a dim, predominantly white district. Yeah, with her white husband. Everybody said, oh shit, this is spicy. Wow, Kim brought up the blackface and Sunny and got in that ass. As they should. They said Sunny plays no games. And talking about Megan, talking about people being respectful. Yeah, okay. But other than that, Kim got her ass dragged. And even a Republican said to me, who followed me, and said that she should have never agreed to that interview. Well, she just let the world know that she's an ass and she's dumb and she's no one to vote for. But other than that, this is exactly why the GOP don't need to have no power. Not at this present moment. But I'm going to end it on that note. But until then, you guys have a good night.